Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Now, I don't like kicking off the episode with bad news, but our boy Brandon Herrera lost against Tony the Control Freak Gonzalez in his bid to represent Texas District 23 in the U.S. House of Representatives. Gonzalez supported gun control and was backed by some massive corporate donors, but AK Daddy didn't make it easy for him at all. It came down to 407 votes. Folks, I know there's a lot of people out there right now saying that it doesn't matter, that you don't need to bother voting, that voting won't make a difference. 407 votes. Yes, folks, you need to get out there and vote. And yeah, if you lived in Texas District 23, you could have made the difference. Now, I don't know if 407 votes is enough to force a recount, or if Herrera would even be interested in pursuing a recount, but even without the victory, we sent a message. Politicians know they can't just pay lip service to gun owners. And Gonzalez knows he's going to have a hard time mobilizing voters in the general election now that so many of them know what a scumbag he really is. Does that mean I want the blue team candidate to win? Well, I mean, not exactly, but I think it's important that politicians stop taking gun owners' votes for granted. If they think they can sell us out without any consequence, then what reason do they have to fight for us? What do you think? Should gun owners support anti-gun Republicans just to keep the Democrat out of office? Or should we send the message that if they want to win, they have to actually fight for us? But it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors, so it's time to pay some bills. Today's video is generously sponsored by Franklin Armory. It is a scientific fact that bad guys with twice as many holes are half as dangerous. It's math. It can't be wrong. Want reduced split times and tighter groups? With a Franklin Armory binary firing system, you can improve these important shooting metrics and more. Visit franklinarmory.com and gain the selectable option to fire on both the pull and release trigger functions of your semi-automatic firearm today. And by TNVC.com, the new Mars LC 2000 meter laser rangefinder is in stock and ready to ship. It's compact and packed with features including a built-in ballistic computer, Bluetooth, and a red aiming laser, as well as an IR ranging laser, which cannot be detected by most night vision devices. And by Hydra. The Mark 15 Hydra is the most versatile black rifle platform the industry has ever seen. The most you will ever need to convert calibers is a barrel, bolt, and magwell. I want to tell you a story that the legacy media has almost entirely ignored. It's bizarre and convoluted, and many of the facts seem to be contradictory. I'm going to report these facts as best I can based on the multiple sources I've read, but just do me a favor and tack the word allegedly on pretty much everything I say in your head as I say it. So an illegal alien from Chechnya named Ramzan Darev, who lived in Chicago, was working for a New Jersey power company in North Carolina when he came onto a property owned by a colonel in the U.S. Army who is a member of the Special Operations Command. He says Darev was using a camera with a telephoto lens to take photos of his children. He says Darev became aggressive when he approached, so he shot him multiple times. The Chechen's body was found by the sheriff department about 250 yards from the roadway near the power lines he was supposedly photographing at sundown. A second illegal alien, also from Chechnya, was apparently waiting for the dead guy in a car nearby. Both men worked for a company called Utilities One, which is owned by a guy from Moldova who worked as a busboy and an ice salesman for 3 years in the US before somehow saving up enough money to start up a utility company in 2016. But while their employment with the company was legitimate, they were not wearing a company uniform or displaying ID. The company released a statement including a photo they claim was the last pic taken by Darev. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could the company get hold of that? Well, if he was using a company phone, it might automatically upload as he takes photos. But the colonel said Darev had a camera with a telephoto lens, and if he was supposed to be photographing power lines and rights-of-way, why was he doing that at sundown?
some weird, wild stuff.
Okay, so on the one hand, we've got illegal aliens from a country known for its terrorists working on our power infrastructure. Even if this guy was totally legit, that in itself is pretty concerning. But you have to admit, it really sounds like these guys were gathering intel for some Tom Clancy plot. Were they planning to take his family hostage? I mean, if they were, why would they go to the trouble of getting hired with a power company, but then turn around and neglect to wear a company uniform, display an ID badge, or do pretty much anything else to lend credibility to their presence? In other words, why bother creating a legitimate cover if you're not going to use the cover? It would be easier to just gilly up and sneak through the woods, wouldn't it? What do you folks think actually happened here? Was it a good shoot? Comment below. Or head on over to the ARFCOM forum and dive in. There are a lot of great points made in the thread there I just didn't have time for in this video. As always, we'll link down there in the doobly-doo. The man who brought you the Bipartisan Gun Control Act of 2022 apparently wants you to think he cares about your gun rights. Now, Jeff Cornyn has co-sponsored the awkwardly named Repealing Illegal Freedom and Liberty Excises Act. Oh, cute. That spells rifle. Never mind that it sounds like it's for repealing illegal freedom and liberty. Can this stop being a thing? Can politicians just stop with the cute little acronyms already? Anyway, the Rifle Act would repeal the NFA tax. Why now? Well, because there is no risk whatsoever that this would actually pass. Now remember, he didn't push for this when his party held both houses and the Oval Office, nor did he push through any other pro-gun legislation. Is it a bad bill? I mean, I guess it's kinda sorta not terrible, maybe? But the entire NFA needs to go, and repealing just the tax might make it harder to kill the NFA in court, while also maybe paving the way to register other firearms in the NFA. Now, I know I've said this before, but it looks like Bumpy Boys might be back on the menu. Again, maybe. The Supremes haven't released their opinion yet, but some smart people are saying they might rule our way after reading the bones.
I will consult the bones.
Basically, what the smart folks are saying is each of the justices who are more likely to vote against us have already authored majority opinions in other cases. That leaves the only justices who have not authored a majority opinion as the ones who are more likely to be on our side. Now, if you ask me, that sounds kind of thin, and I don't understand why one of the control freak justices can't write another majority opinion, but just because I don't understand it doesn't make it not real, and I'm not too proud to defer to the wisdom of actual attorneys like Mark W. Smith of the Four Boxes Diner. What do you folks think? Which way will SCOTUS rule on bump stocks? And does it even matter if Congress is just going to turn around and ban them by legislation anyway? Now, for your moment of Zen. Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew propaganda at the low, low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.